Liteboho Makhele. I work for the South African Cities Network as a program manager for sustainable and resilient cities. And what the organization does is encourage the exchange of knowledge and best practices across our cities in South Africa and across the continent. And we're beginning to engage with our counterparts in our different African cities around the work that we do. A lot of our work also focuses on evidence-based research to enable better decision-making for our city leaders and encourage this peer-to-peer learning between our cities. We also advocate for the voice of cities to be heard from the national level, provincial level, and different partners and different urban actors in the space. There are a number of initiatives that we're engaged with. A lot of the cities that we work with have developed climate action plans, and these are aligned with the Paris Agreement that or a number of our countries around the world have agreed to reduce the impact of climate change. And so how we're working with our cities is in the implementation part of the climate action plans, but also knowledge sharing across cities that are still on that development path of climate action planning. And then we're also looking at how do we finance these initiatives. So that's an important aspect of climate action, getting the right sources of funding, the right types of funding to enable these climate actions to become a reality on the ground. Institutional shifts necessary for the transition in our cities are really around cities recognizing their role as enablers of many of the initiatives that need to happen, and not necessarily doing everything themselves and by themselves, but looking at how as a city administration, can you enable other partners to come in and collaborate with you as an administrative part of a city to implement some of these initiatives. So there needs to be that sort of institutional shift and acknowledgement that all the problems are too big for a city administration to tackle on their own, and partnerships and collaboration are important. Bringing in the knowledge and expertise of academics, so working with research institutions and universities to provide the evidence that's required to then enable decision-making to happen, bringing in the finance capability and capital of the private sector to then enable some of these projects to become reality on the ground, and bringing in nonprofit organizations and community-based organizations to enable all of these partners to work meaningfully with communities and have good community participation, community ownership, and therefore community acceptance and cohesion around what needs to happen on the ground is important. So all of these areas are interrelated, and we always talk about the nexus issues, the interconnectedness of energy, water, waste, and other aspects like food systems. So these are all integrated, and we need to ensure in the work that our cities do that they understand the interdependencies. So if you're talking about water, how does waste affect the quality of our rivers? How does not addressing waste affect the impacts of flooding, for instance, in cities? So you can have waste as a negative barrier to addressing water quality issues. But on the other side, you can look at waste as a valuable product that can then be used for economic development and job creation and skills development and entrepreneurship. How do you harness the circular economy in waste, addressing its impact on water in a more positive way? For instance, also, if you look at energy, you can use waste as an energy byproduct or an energy enabler in cities. You generate energy from waste. So there are many ways that we can look at these three areas and their interconnectedness in a more positive way, in a more integrated approach to addressing some of the challenges that we see. So we have an energy crisis. How do we make sure that we utilize the billions of tons of waste that's available globally. And then if you look at our city, to then generate energy for that, how do we address job creation and economic development by enabling already existing initiatives around waste recycling and waste management to be upscaled and to reach more people?